Picture the scene, if you can. It is absolute crushing desolation. We are talking about the darkest, coldest depths of winter in the Japanese countryside. The wind isn't just blowing, it is howling, tearing through the thin paper and wood walls of a dilapidated barn. And there, lying in the snow, completely alone, completely abandoned by the feudal society that was supposed to protect him, is a man frozen to death.
Oh, brilliant. Sounds like a barrel of laughs, this. Is this your idea of a cracking Friday night in?
What?
Let's watch a bloke turn into an icicle for 2 hours.
It is not about laughs, you Philistine. It is about art with a capital A. We are talking about the raw, unfiltered tragedy of the human condition.
Oh, the human condition, right.
This is Souls on the Road, or Rojo no Reikon, if you want to give it the respect it actually deserves. It exploded out of Japan in 1921, and I am telling you, it shattered the conventions of the time like a hammer through a glass pane. It is a cinematic revolution.
Cinema, the magic vehicle, a comprehensive guide. Journey 1, 1913 to 1950.
Revolution.
Yes, a revolution.
You are calling Souls on the Road a revolution. I've watched it, remember?
I know you have.
I watched it because you wouldn't stop badgering me about it for weeks. And frankly, it's a shambles.
A shambles? Are you joking?
An absolute mess. It's melodramatic, it's disjointed, and it's basically a depressing copy-paste of Western movies made by people who didn't quite know how to use the cameras yet.
You have absolutely no soul. That is your problem. You are a hollow shell of a human being.
I have a soul. I just prefer my soul not to be dragged down a muddy road for 90 minutes by amateur filmmakers pretending to be Russian intellectuals. The title alone, Souls on the Road, it's so pretentious.
Amateurs, how dare you? We are talking about Minoru Murata. We are talking about the Shochiku Kinema Research Studio. This is widely considered the first mature Japanese film the moment the medium grew up.
Mature is doing a lot of heavy lifting there, mate. A lot. Experimental, I'll give you. Confusing, definitely. But you are looking at this with rose-tinted glasses, or maybe snow-blinded glasses, given the subject matter.
And you are looking at it like a cynical accountant who only cares about clear plots and happy endings. Look, we have to unpack this because this film isn't just a film, it is a battleground.
Oh, here we go.
No, seriously. It is where the old world of Japan, the kabuki, the oyama, the benshi crashed headfirst into the new world of realism.
It was a crash, all right, a car crash. A slow, miserable car crash in the snow.
It was genius. But before we get into the grim details of who dies in which barn, and yes, spoiler alert, it is a tragedy, we have to set the stage. You cannot drop into 1921 Tokyo without a map. You need to understand the air they were breathing.
Right, well, give us the map then. But if the map leads to another frozen corpse, I'm turning the car around.
The map leads to the future. You have to realize what was happening in Japan at the turn of the 1920s. This is the Taisho era. It's brief, it's democratic, it's vibrant, but the cinema was It was stuck in the past. Up until this point, Japanese film was essentially film theater.
Jidaigeki, period dramas.
Exactly, jidaigeki. Samurai swords, bigwigs, heavily stylized movements that look completely unnatural on film. It was basically kabuki theater captured on celluloid.
Right.
The camera was bolted to the floor in the front row. It didn't move. It just stared at the stage while actors shouted in archaic language and struck these dramatic poses.
Which, to be fair, has a certain charm. It's like watching a play without leaving your house.
Yeah.
And don't forget the benshi. You can't talk about this era without them.
Oh, the benshi.
Don't the benshi. They were legends. For anyone listening who doesn't know, silent films in Japan weren't silent at all.
Well, not really. No.
You had a narrator, the benshi, standing right next to the screen, doing all the voices, explaining the plot, adding his own commentary. Some of them were more famous than the actors on screen. People went to see a specific benshi, not a specific film.
But that's the problem. The benshi were a crutch. They were a creative straitjacket.
How so?
Because the films relied on a narrator to explain everything, the directors didn't have to learn visual storytelling. They could just film a wide shot of a room and let the benshi talk for 10 minutes about what everyone was thinking and feeling. It wasn't cinema. It was a slideshow with a lecture.
It was a unique cultural form. It was Japanese.
It was holding the medium back. But then you have this massive shift happening in the country. Industrialization is exploding. People are moving from the rice paddies to the factories in Tokyo and Osaka.
Right. A whole new audience.
A whole new audience that didn't care about old feudal stories of samurais and loyalty. It didn't resonate with the new urban youth. They needed Gendaigeki.
Modern dramas.
Yes, stories about contemporary life, about the now. And that is where the Shochiku Kinema Research Studio comes in.
Sounds very official.
It was. Even the name sounds scientific, doesn't it? It was an incubator for visionaries, a place designed to break all the old rules.
It sounds like a lab where things go wrong. Research studio. It implies they didn't know what they were doing yet. And who do they put in charge of this new wave of cinema? A bloke named Kaoru Osanai.
A legend. A theatrical innovator.
A theater director. That's my point. You're telling me this is the great break from the stage, the great leap into pure cinema. And the guy running the show is a bloke who spent his entire life directing plays. It's the blind leading the blind.
That is a gross oversimplification, and you know it. Osanai was a Shinjeki director, new theater. He was already trying to modernize Japanese drama, to bring in Ibsen and Chekhov. He was fighting the old guard on the stage, too.
Okay, fair enough. But he's still a stage guy.
He knew that to make real films, he couldn't use the old guard of film directors. He explicitly refused to hire them. He wanted fresh blood. He wanted people who hadn't been corrupted by the kabuki style of filmmaking.
So he grabbed a bunch of theater kids and gave them cameras they didn't know how to operate. Brilliant.
He facilitated collaboration. He brought in people who had actually been abroad, who had seen what was possible.
Ah, yes, the I went to California once brigade.
Don't be so dismissive. He hired people like Henry Kotani. Kotani had worked in Hollywood as a cameraman for people like Cecil B. DeMille. He'd even acted. He brought the technical know-how.
Right, the American influence.
And then you have Murata, the director, who was a stage actor obsessed with European literature. They were reading Gorky, they were watching German Expressionism, they were watching Swedish films. They were trying to synthesize a new language.
Synthesize. That's a very polite word for copy or nick.
It's not copying.
You look at this film, and you can practically see them checking boxes.
Ah.
Oh, D.W. Griffith did a fade out here. We'll do the fade out. The Swedes did a cool ghost effect. Let's throw a ghost in. It's a patchwork quilt of borrowed ideas.
It is a mosaic. They were building a new form from the best parts of what they were seeing. And you have to remember, they were doing this against the clock. This was 1921.
The golden window.
A very, very short window. Because what happens just 2 years later, September 1st, 1923?
The Great Kanto earthquake.
Exactly. Tokyo is leveled. The film studios are destroyed. This entire era of wild experimentation, it gets literally crushed, wiped out. That makes this film a time capsule. It is a glimpse of what Japanese cinema could have been before the disaster forced them to reset.
Or it proves how unstable and wobbly the whole industry was to begin with. This film exists in this weird limbo. They are trying to build an industry, trying to figure out the grammar of film, and they are doing it by obsessively copying foreign homework.
It is not copying if you adapt it to your own culture.
Is it adapting? Or is it just pasting things together that don't fit? I mean, come on. The source material for this so-called Japanese masterpiece isn't even Japanese.
Well, no, not really.
It's not. It's Maxim Gorky, The Lower Depths, a Russian play, and some German writer, Wilhelm Schmidt-Bond. They're taking stories about Russian peasants and German wanderers, putting kimonos on them, and pretending it is an ape statement about Japan.
But that is the beauty of it. It is universal. The themes are universal.
It's derivative, and it's confusing.
It is synthesizing. They were taking the best of European social drama, the social criticism, the depth of character, and applying it to the Japanese landscape. And honestly, the fact that you can't see the ambition in that is just, it's tragic.
The ambition is fine. I'll grant you it was ambitious. It's the result I take issue with. Look, the history is fascinating. I'll give you that. But we have to talk about the actual experience of watching this thing. Because if you, listening right now, go and find a copy of Souls on the Road after this, I don't want you sending me angry emails. The plot is, well, mental is the word I'm looking for.
It is ambitious. Murata decided that telling one sad story wasn't enough. He needed to tell two sad stories simultaneously.
At the same time. Intercut. Back and forth. Gives you whiplash. 1 minute you're in a posh mansion, the next minute you're on a muddy dirt road, then back to the mansion, then to some convicts.
He was channeling D.W. Griffith, specifically his epic Intolerance.
Oh, here we go again.
No, it's a direct influence. You know how Griffith cut between 4 different time periods to show the universality of human suffering and injustice?
Yes. Babylon and modern America and all that.
Murata is doing the same thing, but spatially. He's cutting between 2 separate groups of people walking down the same road at the same time, their fates unknowingly intertwined.
It's a direct ripoff, is what it is. And just because Griffith did it doesn't mean it works here. Griffith was cutting between massive, distinct historical epochs. Murata's cutting between sad guy A and sad guy B on the same road.
It's confusing. Half the time I didn't know who I was supposed to be looking at or why.
That is the point. It creates meaning through juxtaposition. You have story A and story B. Let's start with story A, the tragedy.
The melodrama.
It is the story of Koichiro, the prodigal son.
Right. Koichiro, the lad who had it all. Wealthy family, big estate. Dad's a bit of a tyrant, but, he's loaded.
Yeah.
And what does Koichiro do? He tells his dad to stuff it and runs away to Tokyo to chase his dreams.
To become a violinist,
Yeah.
to pursue art, to live a life of meaning, to become a fiddler. In 1920s Japan, talk about poor career counseling. He leaves his inheritance to scrape a bow across catgut in a cold apartment in Tokyo. And, surprise, surprise, it doesn't pay the bills.
You are so cynical. It represents the rejection of the feudal, rigid life for the freedom of modern expression. It is about the soul seeking beauty over profit.
It represents bad financial planning. So he comes back years later, dragging his tail between his legs. And he's not alone.
No, he has a wife and a sick daughter. A poor, tiny 8-year-old girl who was coughing her lungs out from the very first frame we see her.
Ah, the classic coughing child trope. You know the rule. If you see a child in a silent movie and they cough once by a coffin, they're a goner. It's screenwriting 101 for Misery.
It is heartbreaking. They are destitute, their clothes are tattered, they are trudging through the autumn leaves, and they look terrified. Koichiro just wants his father to accept him, to forgive him, but most of all, to help his grandchild.
And the father, the patriarch, what's his reaction?
A stone wall. He is the embodiment of the old, rigid society. He refuses to even see them. He sends the servants out to drive them away like stray dogs. Tell him he has no son.
Get off my lawn with your violin and your consumptive child. It's almost pantomime villainy, isn't it?
Yeah.
The father might as well be twirling a big black mustache. It's so over the top.
It is not pantomime. It feels cruel because it was cruel. This was a society where filial piety was everything. The family unit was paramount. Koichiro broke the contract. He left. He is dead to the father. The scene where they are turned away at the gate, the camera just lingers on Koichiro's face. The shame, the desperation, it's utterly devastating.
It's a soap opera, mate. A very slow, very cold soap opera. But that's only half the confusion.
Yeah.
Because while we're watching the violinist weep, Murata keeps cutting away to story B.
Ah, yes, the convicts, Tsurukichi and Kamezo.
Two rough-looking blokes, fresh out of the clink, just finished their sentences for, was it robbery or something?
Exactly. They're walking down the same road, but their journey is the mirror image of Koichiro's. They are bad men, officially rejected by society, but they stumble upon a villa.
The villa with the Hollywood girl, which we will definitely get to later.
The caretaker of the villa creates this fascinating contrast. He treats the convicts with suspicion at first, naturally, but eventually he gives them food, he gives them a place to rest, he treats them like human beings.
And this is where the message starts hitting you over the head with a sledgehammer. The rich, respectable father treats his own son like garbage. The humble stranger treats the criminals like guests. Rich people bad, poor people good. We get it. It's not exactly subtle.
It is a critique of social labels, of preconceived notions. And the irony, the brilliant irony, is that these two stories then intersect on the road. The convicts meet the starving family.
And they share their food.
They do. These men who have nothing, who are outcasts, they show more compassion to that little girl than her own grandfather did. They give her the last of their rice. It creates a thematic resonance that rings through the whole film.
It rings because it's hollow. It's heavy-handed moralizing.
Yeah.
It's a morality play for simpletons.
It is profound. It asks who the real criminals are in society.
It is a sledgehammer to the face. I don't need 2 hours and a Cyrillic title card to figure out that being kind is better than being cruel.
So you did notice the title card.
How could I possibly miss it? You're watching a Japanese silent film, trying to follow these two miserable stories, and then suddenly, for no reason at all, the screen is filled with a giant title card in the Russian alphabet.
Cyrillic.
It is a quote from Gorky. It's from the original play Naigenar, The Lower Depths.
Who is that for? That is my question, seriously. Who in the audience in 1921 Tokyo is sitting there going, yes, an excellent use of the Cyrillic alphabet there, quite poignant. It's showing off. It's the filmmakers elbowing you in the ribs saying, look at us, we read Russian plays. We're intellectuals.
It is a nod to the intellectual depth of the project. It is signaling to the audience that this isn't just a frivolous entertainment product. It is literature on film. It's setting the tone. It's pretentious. It's like when people get tattoos in languages they don't speak. It looks cool to them. but it means absolutely nothing to the average punter. It pulls you right out of the film.
It means everything. It connects the film to the global struggle of the lower classes, from the slums of Russia to the muddy roads of Japan.
It connects the film to the director's ego.
You are impossible. You are completely missing the visual poetry because you are too busy nitpicking the font choices on the intertitles.
I'm not nitpicking, I'm critiquing. But fine, let's talk about the visual poetry. Let's talk about the fact that they drag these poor actors up a mountain to film it.
Yes, let's talk about it. Location shooting. This is another revolution.
Here we go again. Everything's a revolution.
It was. You have to understand, before this, films were shot on sets. Painted backdrops, fake trees.
Right.
If you wanted a mountain, you painted a mountain on a huge canvas and stood in front of it.
Which works fine. It's stylized. It's theatrical. We know it's not real.
It looks fake. It looks like a stage play. Murata said no. He took the camera outside. He went to the actual roads of central Japan. He filmed in the mud, in the wind, in the dying light of autumn.
And it looks absolute miserable. I'll give you that. You can practically feel the dampness and the cold coming off the screen.
Yeah.
I think I caught a chill just watching it.
That is the texture of reality. The source material, the script, describes the setting as the black fields of late autumn. And Murata captures that. The gray skies, the withered grass, the way the dust kicks up on the road. The landscape isn't just a background, it's a character. It's an antagonist. It's oppressive.
It's certainly antagonistic to the lighting cameraman. Half the film is so dark you have to squint to see what's going on. It's just muddy. It's just a muddy road, mate.
It is natural light. It's moody. And speaking of the camera, this is where the research part of Shochiku Kinema comes in. They weren't just pointing and shooting. They were using cinematic punctuation that no one else in Japan was using at the time.
Cinematic punctuation. Here we go. Get your film school dictionary out.
They were using things like wipes and irises.
Explain it for the listeners who haven't spent 3 years wearing a beret and talking about Eisenstein.
An iris shot. You know where the black circle closes in to focus on a particular detail, like a telescope closing or opening?
Borrowed from D.W. Griffith again, I assume?
Yes, but used for psychological effect.
Yeah.
In a kabuki play, if an actor wants you to look at his face, he strikes a mai pose, he freezes and crosses his eyes. It's a stage convention.
Right.
In Souls on the Road, Murata uses the iris to force your eye to the emotion. He isolates the father's angry face. He isolates the hand holding the violin case. He isolates the single tear on the wife's cheek. It's intimate. It's a cinematic close-up of the soul.
It's a gimmick. It feels like a gimmick.
Yeah.
Look, I bought a new aperture ring for my camera. Let's use it on every shot. And don't even get me started on the bloody ghosts.
The superimpositions are brilliant.
They're ridiculous. There's a scene where the characters are thinking or dreaming or, I don't know, having a breakdown, and suddenly you see these transparent ghostly figures layered over the main image.
It visualizes their inner state, their memories, their fears.
It plagiarizes The Phantom Carriage. Victor Sjöström's Swedish film came out just before this. It's famous for that specific double exposure ghost effect. Murata clearly watched it and said, right, I'll have a bit of that. It doesn't even fit the tone of the story. It's just there because they figured out how to do the trick.
It separates the spiritual reality from the physical reality. It is showing the ghosts of their past mistakes haunting them as they walk down that road. It's poetic.
It looks like a magic trick at a children's party. It's trick photography 101. And while we're talking about things that don't fit, the girl.
Which girl? Koichiro's daughter.
No, not the coughing one. The villa owner's daughter. In the flashback or the dream sequence or whatever that confusing mess was meant to be.
Ah, yes. The actress, Yuriko Hanabusa.
She doesn't look like she belongs in rural Japan in 1921. She looks like she just stepped off a plane from Los Angeles.
She looks glamorous. She represents a different world.
She looks ridiculous.
Yeah.
You've got these muddy roads, these starving peasants, you've got convicts in rags, and then suddenly, bam, Gloria Swanson walks in with full makeup, a perm, and a flapper dress. It breaks the immersion completely. It's utterly jarring.
It is supposed to be jarring. It is supposed to represent the ideal, the beauty and wealth of the upper class that is forever out of reach for these characters. It is Gendai Geiki modern drama. She represents the modern, westernized woman.
She represents the fact that they were trying to copy Hollywood stars. They wanted that American glamour, even if it made no logical sense in a story about peasants in the Japanese countryside. It's like putting a Kardashian in the Grapes of Wrath. It just doesn't work.
It is striking. It's memorable.
It's a mess. The whole thing is a grab bag of mismatched ideas.
You just refuse to feel anything, don't you? You see a beautiful, sad image, and all you want to do is check the continuity notes for errors.
I want a film to make some sort of coherent sense.
But Japanese cinema isn't always about making sense in a linear, logical Western way. It is about something deeper. It is about mono no aware.
Oh, no, I knew it. I knew you were going to bring out the philosophy degree and start talking in Japanese.
You cannot talk about Souls on the Road without it. It's fundamental. Mono no aware. It means the pathos of things, the gentle sadness of transience.
You're doing it again. You're making being sad sound fancy and intellectual.
It is not just being sad. It is a specific kind of sadness. It is the wistful realization that everything is temporary. The cherry blossom is beautiful because it falls. The autumn leaves are beautiful because they are dying. That is what Murata captures. The film isn't just a tragedy. It's a meditation on the fleeting, heartbreaking nature of life itself.
Right, so the philosophical justification for life is short, then you die in a barn. Got it.
It is equivalent to Virgil's Lacrimae Rerum, the tears of thanks. It's a universal human feeling.
Look at you, quoting Latin now. First Cyrillic, now Latin. Very impressive.
It's important. Murata wasn't just making a miserable story. He was trying to capture that specifically Japanese feeling of impermanence. That is why the seasons matter so much in the film. The transition from late autumn to the dead of winter. It mirrors the cycle of life and death.
It mirrors the fact that they probably shot it over a few months and the weather changed.
No. The source material even says it. The main dramatic device of the film is contrast.
Contrast. Yeah.
Yes. Sunshine versus clouds, optimism versus pessimism, compassion versus cruelty, the kindness of strangers versus the coldness of family.
I will give you that. There is contrast. But the source also says, and I memorized this bit just for you, elements borrowed from various sources are not always blended with full dramatic effect.
You are cherry-picking. That's not the full context.
I am reading the text. Even the source admits it's disjointed. It's a clunky experiment.
But finish the quote. Go on. You know the rest of it.
I don't recall the rest of it precisely.
It says, but they are blended into a consistent mood. A consistent mood. That is the victory. That is the artistic achievement. Even if the pieces are borrowed, a bit of Griffith, a bit of Gorky, a bit of Sjöström, the mood is consistent, and that mood is pure mono-aware.
That consistent mood is just code for consistently miserable. It's relentless. There is no break. There is no moment of levity. It's just mud, snow, coughing, cruelty, and death.
But that is the point. Life can be like that.
Is it? Or did they just forget to put any jokes in? Did they forget that humans also laugh?
It's not a comedy. Are you meant to laugh at King Lear?
Even Shakespeare had the fool for comic relief. This is just a funeral procession on celluloid. There's no light to contrast with the shade.
You are ignoring the legacy. You are so focused on the technical flaws that you are ignoring what this film led to.
Oh, go on then. Blame this film for something else. What did it inflict on the world?
I am not blaming it. I am crediting it. I am going to make a statement now, and I want you to listen very carefully.
I'm all ears. This should be good.
This film is the grandfather of Italian neorealism.
You are joking. You have to be joking. Are you having a laugh?
I am deadly serious.
You are comparing this clunky, melodramatic, silent Japanese film to La Strada, to Fellini, to De Sica's Bicycle Thieves. You cannot be serious.
Yes. Think about it. What is La Strada? It's Gelsomina and Zampano.
The Strong Man and the Waif. A masterpiece.
Traveling down the provincial roads of post-war Italy. Desperate, poor, searching for meaning in a cruel world.
It's a road movie. That's the only connection. They're on a road.
It is the Odyssey structure. The lonely journey through a landscape that doesn't care if you live or die. Murata proved you could make high art out of dirt and poverty decades before the Italians did. He took the camera off the theatrical stage and put it onto the real road.
Are you honestly trying to tell me that Federico Fellini sat down in Rome in the 1950s, watched a scratchy print of Souls on the Road, and said, Mamma mia, that's it. That's the inspiration for my next film?
Yeah.
It's mental comparison.
I am saying the spiritual lineage is there. Murata took the camera off the tripod and put it in the mud. He focused on the poor. He focused on the outcasts. He shot on location. That is the DNA of neorealism. It was decades ahead of its time.
It's a reach, mate. It's a massive, massive reach. A masterpiece out of dirt. That should be the tagline on the poster.
And what about the impact on Japanese cinema itself? This film taught Japanese audiences something crucial.
Taught them to bring a coat and a packed lunch to the cinema.
It taught them to value atmosphere over factual realism.
All right. So this is why so many classic Japanese movies are so bloody slow. Is that what you're saying? This is the film to blame.
It explains the focus on mood, on the lingering shot, on the quiet moments.
It explains a lot. If you tell an audience, don't worry about the plot making sense, just vibe with the atmosphere, you give a green light to a lot of self-indulgent cinema down the line.
You get Ozu. You get Yasujiro Ozu, the undisputed master of Mono no Aware. You don't get Ozu without Murata paving the way. Ozu's Tokyo Story. It's the same DNA, the sadness of the family breaking apart, the generational conflict, the quiet acceptance of tragedy. It all starts here.
Ozu was a genius. He had a control of the medium that was light years beyond this. Murata was a guy trying to figure out how to use an iris lens. There is a world of difference.
Murata opened the door. He showed that cinema could be art, not just recorded theater. He took the camera off the tripod and put it in the mud.
And got it dirty. And the lens was probably smudged for half the shoot.
It changed everything. It set the template.
Look, I get it. I really do. You love the vibe. You love the black fields of late autumn. You love the romantic idea of the tortured artist dying in the snow for his art.
It moves me. It is raw and powerful.
But for the average person, for you, the listener, right now, if you sit down to watch Souls on the Road, you are not going to see a cinematic revolution. You are going to see a flickering, grainy, confusing story about a guy who made some very bad life choices and paid the ultimate price for them.
They will see the birth of an art form, the birth of modern Japanese cinema.
They will see Cyrillic title cards and wonder if they've accidentally put the wrong DVD in.
You are so cynical. You have no romance in your soul.
I'm realistic. I don't want people wasting 90 minutes of their life because you sold them a poetic dream.
Listen to me. If you are listening to this, you need to watch Souls on the Road.
Don't do it. Go watch a Kurosawa film instead. Or Godzilla.
Watch it for the history. Watch it for the raw, unfiltered emotion. Watch it to see the exact moment when Japanese filmmakers stopped looking at the stage and started looking at the world around them.
Or watch it if you have insomnia. It'll cure it.
Watch it for the black fields of late autumn. It is properly genius.
Watch it if you like reading Cyrillic in the snow and watching people die in barns. It's a bit of a shambles, really. A noble failure, at best.
It is not a shambles. It is a masterpiece of Mono no Aware. It is essential viewing.
It's a masterpiece of needing a better editor and a more coherent script.
Let me ask you this then, and be honest. To anyone listening, do you need a plot to make perfect logical sense? Or is the feeling a film gives you enough?
I need the plot to make sense. Of course I do. Otherwise, it's just a music video without the music. It's just a sequence of miserable images.
You are hopeless. Absolutely hopeless.
And you are easily impressed by a sad bloke with a violin in a snowstorm.
The violin represents the soul, the striving for beauty in a harsh world.
The violin represents a complete waste of money. If he'd studied accounting like his father probably wanted, he'd be alive and warm.
But he wouldn't be Koichiro. He wouldn't have lived.
He'd be warm. And his daughter wouldn't have died in a barn.
Oh, you are impossible. You reduce everything to practicality.
And you elevate everything to some lofty philosophical nonsense.
Just watch the film.
Don't bother. Read the Wikipedia summary.
It is art.